Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Selling Portage podcast. That's all I got, Colin. What are you doing?
I'm your co I'm your host, Colin Doyle. Always with me is my co-host, Ryan Espy. Ryan, how are you doing this gloomy day?
Oh, I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, May long, like, my goodness, you cannot count on a May long to be anything.
right.
Where I was, it snowed.
hmm
And
Um, and where I wore ski pants and winter boots all day.
well, you
Uh,
were on the way to where I was.
that's right, which wasn't 100% necessary, but once you get that cold, damp chill in you, there's no getting it out. So I layered up to avoid that altogether.
Yeah, well, I it did put my dock in and launch my boat uh,
Oh, did you?
amongst that stuff, so we got it done.
Wow.
And unfortunately, we watched the final the final Jets game of this season.
That was heartbreaking.
So close, and then Shifley saves the game, but then they score on the power play in overtime, and he's in the box as it happens. With all the tragedy surrounding him, that's just terrible. After he went from an extreme high of scoring the first goal of the game after losing his father the night before.
Right.
Yeah,
And you know, you you watch a game like that and had it gone the other way, had the Jets taken it in overtime, it would be like a movie. And I have no doubt in my mind they would have came back to Winnipeg and won that series two
I
nights
know.
later.
It would have been the sequel to the first movie because who would have believed Game Seven in Round One?
Right.
Like
That's
the
true.
odds of that happening. We would have been watching Rocky Two. I know you don't know the context because you have not seen any of them,
That's true. I
which
will
is
say what they were missing was the flying V.
and I'm gonna say it, Logan Stanley.
And Logan Stanley. Yeah, absolutely.
They
Someone to
needed some
bash
more
some salt
defensemen out
around there.
there with some size.
And it's I mean, obviously you and I have watched pretty closely throughout the playoffs, and for a team that was first place in the power play, penalty kill, first place in the league, first place in goals against, you know, just throughout the whole season, they let the playoffs get to them a little bit. Um, you had said it, quote from your father-in-law last week about how they just seem to be possibly outcoached throughout the playoffs, and
Yeah,
I think
outcoached and potentially. Well, there's some other things. I mean, Hellebuck finally figured out what the hell was going on with him, and now he seems to be back.
right.
But he had to get over that hump, which gives me optimism for next year. But you want to know
Yep.
what the major difference between Winnipeg fans and the rest of them are? Winnipeg fans left that game, even though they were sad, they left with optimism and a love for their team.
Right. Just like the
Toronto,
Leafs. No, wait. That was the
you know
opposite.
where I'm going. Toronto fans are throwing their jerseys on the ice, burning them in the streets, and I'm quite surprised they didn't actually start looting after that game.
Right. Exactly.
That was crazy, which I guess is a good, strategy for business if you're trying to sell merch. Piss off the fans so much that they burn their jerseys, and then they got to buy new ones when the new season starts up.
That's right. I was waiting for a Leafs fan looks similar to Vancouver fan base of the early 2010s.
Ooh, baby, I remember watching that series, but that was the final round.
That was the
The
final
Dodgers.
round, Game 7 against
Yeah,
Boston.
and oh man, the riots. I'm convinced they would have done it either way, one
That's
or
true
the
too.
yeah. So
And there's still
anyway,
people charged recently because of the video that was taken during those riots.
so it was relatively new that Facebook would be such a great thing in convicting people of crimes. When you're, taking selfies on top of the burning police car. I mean,
That's right. Just always know somebody's watching nowadays.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Um, I would be remiss if I did not allow you your 30 seconds of fame for your performance in our men's league night last week.
Oh, see, I was going to be a gentleman. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but
Well, you know what? You just forgot, and I don't for 1 second think you're just trying to be a gentleman.
well, I was hitting my 6 iron very well, and actually that saved the day for me. Um, all of the times you've called me Mitch Buchanan because I end up in the sand from time to time, I think that gets put to rest for at least a couple weeks.
Well, you normally do bring your zinc oxide and your umbrella because you spend so much time on the beach when we're on the golf course.
I think it was our fourth hole where you went back and forth from sand trap to sand trap to sand trap.
So much for being a gentleman. So much
That's
for
right.
being a gentleman.
I kicked your ass.
Hey, tomorrow is another day, and tomorrow is
That's
the
right.
day that we will play again. And we get to play Josh and Riley, the guys that happen to own the golf sim in town, who will be a future guest on this show. And it will be nice to
It will
beat up
be.
on those two guys.
Maybe they can give me some pointers.
Or they're like that Seinfeld episode where the guy pretends to be very like a tennis pro and then he's just awful.
Milosh.
Milosh.
Another win for Milosh.
Oh my God. The references on here are obscure.
What's going on in real estate?
It's busy, man. It's busy. We still have an inventory problem, which seems to never go away these days. Something good comes on, something good flies off. And I got some new listings coming up. I see other ones are coming up. Big ones are selling. It is a good time to be in real estate, but also challenging because of that.
Right.
We don't have a huge amount of inventory for everyone to go out and sell. And if you get a listing, you're doing good because it will sell. I got a pending one out in Carberry, which is a huge multifamily. And so commercial inspection next week that's 6 hours long.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That'll take up the better part of your day.
I'm not going.
Oh, you're not going. Okay, good.
No, I'm not going to go. Don't need to go to that one. It's a licensed commercial inspector. He's going to go. He's going to do it in by himself and then do the summary with the client.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Not quite the same as a home inspection. Commercial's a little bit different, and you need a different level of licensing to do it.
Okay. I've never gone through one of those.
Yeah, I've gone through it a few times. It's rare because normally the commercial that I've dealt with is a new build, so there's really no need for an inspection because they're doing the build out as they take over the space.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Hey, what's next week? We'll be in Ottawa during our regular filming time.
Oh my goodness. I forgot all about that.
You can do a live in-person podcast?
We could do it on the road. We do one on the road.
On the road.
That means we're also not golfing next week.
We are not. That is correct.
Means
We'll have to bring in the bench warmers.
I got some arranging to do. I forgot all about animals and all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, right. Your wife is coming too.
My wife is coming. Yeah.
I just dumped a whole bunch of shit on your plate by the sounds of it.
You did. And that's okay.
We'll make it happen.
And you're going to notice when we cut to our guest that we will reemerge and Colin will not be here.
Yes, I have to step away for a little bit of city business. I think we've talked before on the podcast about the community safety well-being plan that is currently being developed for the city of Portage. And we had sent out surveys over the course of many, many months. And when I step away, I have to step away to the actual data presentation from all of those surveys. So I'm interested to see, because we have done months of surveys. So I like to kind of see get my finger on the pulse of where everyone's at as far as the safety and well-being of our citizens in our city. So it should be interesting.
Well, and I will talk about our guest a little bit before she jumps on here, but this is an interesting one because this is someone I've never met in person, and I don't believe you have either.
Nope.
They're new to Portage ish, and also opening a new business. So, without further ado, we have Miss Blessing Case jumping on the show. So long, Colin. Have fun at your meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, everybody. I'm here with Blessing Case. Blessing, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Let's talk about maybe right off. We'll talk right about your new business that you're opening up in Portage. So that's exciting.
Yeah,
And it isn't open yet, so we're kind of hearing about it here first, right?
pretty much, yes.
Okay. What can you tell me about that?
So basically, I'm opening a balloon decoration store in Portage. So what we'll be providing would be like helium services, um, rentals, backdrops. What else would be um, providing like balloon garland. So whatever you can think about partying, we're getting into it. So basically, the idea is to kind of gauge what Portage La Prairie would need, then we can kind of go from there.
So we're talking like even gender reveal stuff, that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, pretty much.
So socials, parties, gatherings, that would be what we should come to you for.
Exactly.
So tell me, when is this business opening?
I'm hoping it opens on the 31st of May or June 1st. So it's all
Okay.
depends on my signage, basically.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
still
so
waiting on that.
you're waiting on signage.
Yeah.
All right. So what is the location?
It would be like at 310 Saskatchewan Avenue East, right by the Liquor Mart. So between Dernier and the Memorial
Okay.
location, where PharmaSafe is also there. So it's just an easy location that you can easily find.
Yes. So there's a parking lot. We know the location well.
Yeah,
Portagers will have no issue finding the place.
I hope not.
Okay. So now let's talk about you.
Okay.
Tell me how you ended up. Well, let's go all the way back. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Nigeria. I moved to Canada in 2011. So yeah, it's been history ever since.
Okay. Can I ask you what life was like up until 2011?
Oh yeah, life was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I lived in United Arab Emirates for about 3 years. That's where I finished my high school. Then I came to Canada for university.
Okay. So 2011, you came here, and what did you study in school?
So I first of all started off wanting to do interior design, but like everyone, our goal ended up shifting. So I ended up finishing with economics, minor in management, business management. So
So you did that, and where was that in Canada?
in Manitoba, U of M.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you came straight. You pretty much came straight to Manitoba.
Pretty much, yeah. My uncle studied architecture at the U of M, so he recommended it because that was kind of the field I was going into at first. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did things end up shifting from that into what you're like? Okay. Let me go back a little bit here. So you ended up in Winnipeg,
Yeah.
and you were there until how long were you in Winnipeg for?
Till 2022. Yeah, I literally am new to Portage.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm new to Portage.
So did you come straight here from Winnipeg in 2022?
Yes. Yes.
Now,
Yeah,
what was the thing that brought you here?
my husband. Yeah. Yeah, so we were dating, I believe, a few years ago, and then we decided to move in together. So I made the move to come to Portage.
All right, all right. So your husband is your business partner that's opening this with you, or is it just you?
Oh no, it's just me. But he knows that when I need him, he's gonna be, on the line to help me out to lift heavy things.
Okay.
And yeah, he's helped me out in the past few years, so he knows.
So is your husband a native Portager? Like, is he just
Oh
is he
yeah,
here? Okay.
oh yeah. He's a farmer actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So he's a farmer. You're going to be an entrepreneur soon.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what the early life, like Nigeria, you were born there. How long were you in Nigeria for?
I was there till about 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I moved to Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
What
UAE.
what is Abu Dhabi like to live?
Hot. Very hot, like very hot. Yeah, it's just like a lot of backstory into it. It's like my stepdad, he worked with ships, so he traveled a lot to different countries. So basically, he was in Dubai. Then when I finished school in Nigeria, then I moved to UAE to live with them. So yeah, then we eventually moved to Abu Dhabi.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then Winnipeg and now Portage.
Yes.
So when you're not, what were you, can I ask what you're doing for work before you decided to open the business?
I was like in between like jobs. So basically I was doing like more of customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah, so more of like catering. So I was in the industry of terms of like catering and like server and things like that. So eventually I just went into like customer service to see like what the ins and outs would look like just instead of being a server. And then during COVID, that was when I decided that, I'm going to start my own business. Actually, a friend of mine had noticed that I was really good at helping when it comes to doing events. I would be there to like help her set up and do all those things. And she said, "Oh, I have a business plan that I want to do." She started off like a picnic business. And eventually, someone had said they needed a balloon, and I was terrified of balloons. I know it doesn't sound real, but I was terrified of balloons. My first balloon gallon, I made one of my friend blow it up because I was just scared of it popping. And eventually I said, you know what, I need to learn properly, like good quality in terms of like what kind of product I need to make sure that I overcome my fear. So then I did that, and here we are.
And now this is going to be your main thing that you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much been my main thing since 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've lived in Abu Dhabi, you've lived in Dubai, you've lived in Nigeria, you've lived in Winnipeg,
And I've also lived in Germany. So
and
yeah.
okay, when was Germany?
Well, Germany is like my second home. My stepdad, he's German. So
Okay.
yeah.
So of all these places, you settle in Portage la Prairie, Manitoba.
Yes.
So what can you tell me that sets Portage la Prairie apart from all of these other places?
That's a hard question.
Oh, I know it's a hard.
That's a very hard question. What set it? Well, my family is here now, so that's what really set it out. Like I know between Germany and here, that's what wherever family is, that's where your home really is. So I think that's the main thing that would set Portage away from the other places that I've lived. And it's really small. It's a really small town.
Yes, yes, it
Seems
is.
like it seems like everyone knows each other.
Well, Portage is funny because you kind of all know each other, but it's also big enough that you can still not see somebody for 20 years in the same community.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So while you're here, what are the other things you like to do in the community?
Not much.
What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I'm not a fun person.
Well,
I'm
you run
not
a
a fun.
party store.
I'm like a homebody. I just like to like, well, I have a little boy, so I take care of him. Um, what do I do for fun? Well, I like to go for walks for fun. I like to travel, but uh, I that's a hard question.
It is a difficult question, and especially when you're put on the spot. It's the kind of thing that we're always prepared for because Colin and I are both city councilors, and we get asked questions like that all the time. Like, what do you love about Portage? And then you have to come up with an answer on the spot.
That's
So maybe that's the question I'll ask you. What do you love about Portage?
What do I love about Portage?
Yeah.
I like that, it's easy to get to places. The traffic is not crazy compared to
Mm.
Winnipeg. Um, People are friendly here, so that's actually really nice. That's actually welcoming. Um, what else about Portage?
It is nice to hear that you said that Portage is welcoming because throughout COVID, that might not have been the case, but that might have been everywhere.
Yeah, but I moved around like after kind of it's like dwindling down. So I
Yeah.
thought like people were pretty, accommodating and nice about, the whole situation. You just get people like, you're at the grocery store and someone just stops to say hi a little bit. I get that a lot for some reason.
Well, I hope that after people see this, they'll do it a little bit more often.
Okay. I hope I
Um,
get to say hi to people too.
yeah. So I'm going to ask you some other questions.
Yeah.
It will give us a little bit more insight. So we know a little bit about where you've lived. We know what you're doing, what you're opening as a business. We know that you have family. What is something else that people don't know about you, even the ones that might know you a little bit in the community?
Um, so So when I was at the U of M, like my biggest goal, like everyone that spoke to me then, my friends knew, I wanted to be a poultry farmer. Like I loved being a poultry farmer. I had volunteered at the U of M for a couple of years at the poultry farm at the U of M. So I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, that's odd," but that was one of my passion was to own a poultry farm. So yeah,
Now, let me ask you though, your husband's a farmer. What does he farm?
grain.
Okay, so he's
Yeah.
not a poultry
No,
farmer.
no, he's not. But we kind of connected through that, so it made sense.
Oh, that is that how you met?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. So I'll ask you a couple more. So what is the most impactful book that you've ever read?
Most impactful books. I'm not a good reader. I
Or it
don't
could
read.
just be your favorite.
Uh, I would say The Richest Man in Babylon.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, I think that was like during COVID, I read that book like over and over because it's like a little book, but still like made sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, would you say it influenced you to go into opening a business?
Uh no, not really because I enjoy reading. If I read a book, it had to do with finance. It had to do with like how to develop yourself or how to like, grow your business. So it was basically part of it too, but I wouldn't say it's like the only book that I read that made me, do better, but it was one of it.
Okay. Do you watch movies?
I do, but I'm more of like a show girl.
Okay, well, tell me both two things then. Favorite movie and favorite show.
Okay. Favorite movie. Oh boy. I would say The Notebook.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I love The Notebook. It gets me all the time.
That's one
And
of my
for
wife's favorites as well.
yeah, and for shows, I have to like I can't. I wouldn't say I can't live without them, but that's like if one is done, I go to the next one. So it just kind of like in repeats. It's The Office and Seinfeld. So those
Ooh,
are my two favorites. Yeah.
those are
Schitt's Creek is like is in the top, but then Seinfeld and The Office is like top
that's
two.
those are good choices.
Yeah,
Um, I think Seinfeld would be at the top for me.
I'm just watching it right now again. I don't even know how many times that I've
Yeah,
seen I've seen the episodes.
it's amazing that the cultural references that are still there today that came out of that show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just love the sense of humor in terms of like old jokes, like
yeah, I agree. And what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
the best piece of advice. I would say, Oh, that's a good one.
That's a big question. And I wish I could say I came up with it on my own, but I've stolen it from 3 other podcasts. And I don't know who the original was.
I would say just like being present and being like grateful. I feel like that's like something that I've led with since a couple years now, just because I don't know, I was going through a tough time and then someone just said, just, you can only control so much that is happening. Just just be yourself and everything just falls in place. So just being like just the gratification of how things happen and how you deal with it.
Mhm.
That's one of the big, and it's probably for my mom. She's the one. She's always like, yeah, you just don't rush. Just it's gonna work out.
That's
So
good advice.
yeah,
It will keep you grounded as well.
yeah, pretty much.
Um, the other thing, we have, let's go back to the business just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have social media account? I know the answer to this, of course, already, but
Y-
do you have social media accounts that people can follow for your business?
Yes, I do. It's Shades of Balloons. So that's both on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Okay, all
Yeah,
3.
and my website too. But
Which is
that's in the process of
that's in process.
yeah.
Okay. So make sure you go out and you follow on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I will do the same as soon
Thank
as
you.
we get off of here. I think I'm already following on Facebook.
Yes,
I have not looked at Instagram or TikTok yet.
that's
Yeah.
okay.
Now, is there anything else you want to tell people before we end the interview?
Um, yeah, like I would say if they have like any cool ideas, we're really open to like wanting to know what people would really like because it's different from like, working in Winnipeg, you kind of have an idea because that's where mostly my business has been. I have an idea of what the market kind of looks like and what people like, but then coming into a smaller town, it's just kind of knowing what people actually like. So
Yeah.
I'm open to ideas basically.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a good thing for the community. And I wish you all the best with your
Thank you.
business.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Blessing, thank you for jumping on here today. And I hope lots of people see it. Lots of people check out your business
Yeah.
and come and say hi when they see you out in the community.
Yeah, I hope so too.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.